What up, y'all? It's your girl Candy J for another episode of Candyology. How are y'all doing today? I'm so excited. You see, I'm trying to scoot up in this chair, y'all. Trying to get comfortable because we have such a good show. And I will talk about that in just a moment. About what our show is about. But I just wanted to kind of remind you guys that you're on YouTube at Candyology Radio, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I am Candyology CS. You also can find me on my LinkedIn page at Candyology CS as well. Just to remind you about who I am, I am a certified clinical sexologist through the Dr. Rachel Institute and the American Colleges of Sexologists International. My goal is to foster better communication between couples, any kind of couples, whether you're married or if you are going into premarital counseling, coaching, whatever you want to call it. I help to bring rules and ahs in your relationships, and rekindle that passion. One of the things that is definitely my niche, though, is about education. And as a former educator, I am in love with making sure that our teenagers explore their sexuality in a healthy way. No, does that mean that I'm promoting them to go out and have sex? No. But what I am doing is making sure that they make informed decisions if they do so choose so. And so I go around teaching seminars and classes about that as well. Mocha Marriage Certified Trainer. That means that I went to take a few more courses to make sure that I am equipped to talk to you about all of those different things, the triggers. If you've been watching some of my videos lately, I've talked about triggers. This month is Sexual Health Awareness Month, so we'll be talking about that in this live podcast today. But I wanted to talk to y'all quickly about the fact that I am a marriage boot camp and life enrichment camp counselor, coach with, if you familiar with the reality TV show Marriage Boot Camp. They are the founders, Jim and Elizabeth Carroll. They are here in Plano. And I got the privilege, I was actually gifted the privilege to go and be a part of their boot camp earlier this year. It was January. And when I say that it changed my life for the better, you go through all of these different drills and you talk about healing and the root of where you need to heal, and it brings marriages back together. It will change, guys. If you know me personally, I have shared this story. My father passed away 4 days before my birthday, and we buried him on my birthday. Yesterday would have been his birthday. And so he's been gone for 4 years now. But when it happened, I went through the worst time in my life. I seriously went through a depression. I felt like I was an orphan and my mom's alive. And if you know that story, you know that story. But the reason I bring this up is because when I left Life Enrichment Boot Camp for those 4 days, when I say I've never looked back, I've never felt better about the situation of my father passing and not being depressed about it, knowing that there's still there's always going to be a dull ache because somebody is missing and gone and you wish you had more moments with them, but it's not a heaviness and a load. And so I admonish you to go through their marriage camp or their life enrichment boot camp. We have one coming up this month on September 23rd through the 26th, and I will be front and center helping each person go through a life changing experience. Definitely. And if you can't make it out to the one in September, there's one in November and February and March. And I know some people are still not okay with going out in public for because of COVID. I get it. We're being safe though. We are practicing social distancing. We will have our masks on. But if you've gone to counseling, if you've gone through coaching, and you still feel like there is just something there that still needs to break through for you, definitely you want to come to one of our camps. So I will leave the information in the DM, um and we'll talk about that at any point in time. The next thing that I would love to tell you guys about is I am teaching a class along with some of my fellow sexologists. It's called Bottoms Up an Anal Approach. It is a virtual seminar, so you don't have to go anywhere. But it is themed all about the anus and how you can safely enter that anus and have pleasure from that anus. Yes. This is for men and women, whether you're a beginner or advanced. We would love to have you in the class. So I will also drop that link as well. So guys, let me get to what this show is about today. It is about sex positivity. Um, and we're talking about encompassing sexual health awareness month. And guys, you know this is our month. All the sexologists have been going die hard on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We going for it. We talking about it because why? We want you to be educated. We want that mind to be changed about some things. And we always know that we can learn some more, right? So my lovely friend Goody Howard is going to be on the show today. I'm so excited. Let me tell you a little about her. She is a sexologist, educator, and consultant who hosts sex positive intimacy and empowerment workshops. She is also a pleasure professional that sells sexual accessories. Goody layers her focus on pleasure and education with her energetic and engaging presentation style. While lit and rideology are her most popular classes, she also teaches comprehensive sex education and provides sex positive professional development workshops for helping professionals nationwide. Goody has been educating on campuses in communities and for companies for over 15 years. Connect with her online at Ask Goody on most social media platforms or on her website, askgoody.com. So we'll have her repeat that information. We'll show it back up on the screen. But when we come back, she'll be sitting right next to me. We'll have that great conversation. See you again in a moment.
Hi, my name is Candy J. I am an independent consultant of Bedroom Candy. Bedroom Candy was founded by Candy Burris, Escape singer, group member, Real Housewives of Atlanta star. Yes, if you don't know, it's fine. However, Bedroom Candy is a luxury cosmetics line, candy coated. We also sell hair care, women's wellness products, bath and body products, men's grooming products. Yeah, get that beard going, make them smell good. Yeah, something like that. And everything for the art of seduction, including adult toys. So if you need more information, you can reach me at 972-670-7787, or you can DM me, or you can comment below and I'll make sure to respond. Have a great day.
We are back. You are watching Candyology Radio on Power Play Radio Network. Wait, we got somebody in the studio. Wait a minute. I told you she was coming, y'all. Hey, girl. Yes, girl. Sexologist Unite. Woo!
This is our Christmas. This is the season right now.
Girl, but wait a minute. I was reading your bio, and it wasn't the first time I read it. It's not the first time I've been on your website. But there are some things that you call rideology.
Yes.
Rideology. What the heck is rideology?
Rideology is it's a homegrown intervention. No, it is a. You know what I'm saying? It is it's a dick riding class. It's a partner on top workshop. You know what I'm saying? And it's really focused on teaching people how to get on top with confidence, control, and stamina.
Confidence, control, and what?
Stamina. Yes. Yes. class is about 90 minutes, but it depends on the size of the class. So if there's a lot of people, it takes a little longer, and that's just because of Q&A. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for the Q&A.
So did you just develop your own curriculum
Yeah,
for that?
absolutely.
I mean, was that coming from your
Yes, it was experience and research. You know, lived experience is informative, not definitive. So I took, it was, but it was definitely just my lived experience as a person that enjoys pleasure, but also, you know what I'm saying, as a cowgirl, a Dallas girl, rodeo is what we do. But then just kind of adding in. That's what we do here.
That's what they do.
Yes, save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Hey.
But then also like I layered in like my knowledge of anatomy and physiology and pleasure. So it's very much a thing. And we talk about adding toys to being on top and everything.
So y'all, she's also to me. She was very modest in that bio. I mean, how many degrees do you have? How many?
3 and a possible.
How many?
3 and a possible.
And what are they in, ma'am? What are they in?
My bachelor's is in business management and development, so I use it every day. My first master's degree is in social work, community administrative practice, and my second master's is in public health. And I'm actually the first human being to get a master's of public health from UT Arlington. So, Black history, women's history, human history out here, and I don't. My friends all say that, like, you don't say that enough. Like,
yes, you really should.
And in a pandemic.
Hello.
Class of 2020, actually.
But to me, that also definitely should be on your bio because it is so important. You make history.
Okay. I'm gonna add it. Okay. I hear you. It is added.
I'm just supporting my black.
Duly noted.
But so, I told you while we were talking about this, why become a sexologist? I get this question all the time, and I've gotten it down to about a minute to answer the question.
Right.
You don't have to be stifled here.
Okay.
Just tell. I mean, how did this happen? Where did this come from?
Well, I've always been a freaky friend. Always been that. Grew up in a very already. I grew up in a very sex positive household in the sense that we learned about pleasure. We learned about the anatomy, but we didn't really learn about the social impacts of sex. So that was missing, but still, I think more than most people got. But so I actually didn't get started in this. I went to my friend's toy party, right? She had a toy party, and you know how you have one person and then their friend has one. And it's the same lady hosting the parties, right? Same consultant. And so she was like, well, the feedback and stuff that you're giving, you should really be doing this. And I was like, I hate sales and I hate people. So that's not going to work. That's not my ministry, but I'll have a party for you,
right.
And so I had a party for her, and, we met the sales goals and what have you. And that's back when you get a kickback cash, that's how long ago this was for a party for a company that's no longer in service. And she was like, oh, well, you made this much on your kickback, but kits are on sale, and I want to put $75 of my money with this and get you a kit. And this is a black woman, and so shout out to black women just because. I love black ladies, I love black women, I love black femme identified humans. And so I was like, well, if this is the thing that's for me, I can at least give it a shot, right? So I started doing that, and it's like Mary Kay for dildos, right? So you have to differentiate yourself from the other people that's doing what you do.
Right.
So I started doing little oral sex tips and little position tips and stuff. And the ladies were like, I pay for this without the toys. And so then, ding, my business management and development degree kicked in. And I started fleshing out workshops and things like that. And I did some more research, and I found some wholesalers. And so now I do my own. I do still sell the sex toys, but they are for me. So if you buy sex toys from me, you're putting in on the rent and the car note.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're supporting a black business, okay? And so I just kind of have been just growing it ever since. And I used to do it on the side. And then I decided I met this amazing group of women in the Women of Color Sexual Health Network. Shout out to Wakshin.
Hello.
And they were doing it full time. All these women were doing it full time. I was like, oh, I can do it. I can do just this.
Absolutely.
So then I was like, oh, and so I just started focusing more on that, and I've been doing it full time since December 2016.
And so, I mean, and
so full time, yeah. So I've been doing it 15 years.
But your story sounds very similar.
Yeah. You recognize, you resonated.
Very similar. I mean, I think if we get the differences though. And you grew up in a sex positive household, and I grew up in a PK household. Close leg. That's it. That's
We got I got sex positive, but I'm body negative. So yeah, and and my mother specifically was the people that turn folks off church. That was her. So
She was the over.
oh honey, with a verse on her voicemail.
No,
That's wrong.
what?
That was wrong, child. It was
That
backwards.
was wrong.
It was like make a joyful noise. This is the day the Lord's made. Be joyful, rejoice, and be glad in it. But it was flipped. And I was like, now, see, I know these good Christian folk are clutching their pearls when they leave a voicemail for you, ma'am.
And see, I'm trying to think what's on mine right now because it's been on there for so long.
I'm about to change mine to hang up and send a text.
I think mine says you can do all things through Christ.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's very true.
But it's correct. It's
right.
correct.
It's correct.
It's
correct.
Mine's gonna be like hang up and send a text. I'm gonna change it because I'm tired.
And I had somebody say, well, how can you sell sex toys and sell Jesus at the same time? And I said, wait, what? Hold on. Excuse me?
Who makes sex?
Okay.
Make a joyful noise.
Hey.
All right.
I love all those noises. Okay. Let me stop. But
God made pleasure.
Because if you've ever had a party with me, I am quick to say a Jesus reference real quick. Because I'll be like, that womanizer. Hey, it'll make you say hallelujah.
In your shunda.
To the next one.
In your shunda.
Oh, I feel it in my shunda. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So if you ever had a party with me, you already know.
It's a thing.
It's definitely a thing.
I mean, like the Kama Sutra exists because it's associated with the thought process that an orgasm is as close as you can get to God without dying. So if that is in any way, shape, or form indicative of how the association of religion and sex should be, or the religion and pleasure should be, then I don't know. And I'm a heathen. A whole heathen. I'm churched and I can pass, and I do work in faith-based communities, and I respect other people's belief systems.
Right.
But I'm a whole heathen.
So I'll repeat myself though. I said that this was Sexual Health Awareness Month. Woo! Yes.
Yes.
But there's a quote that stands out to me all the time, and I believe I have a slide for it. But it says sexual health is not just the absence of disease, dysfunction, or infirmity. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? Because I know what it means to me. What does that mean to you? Sexual health is not just the absence of disease, dysfunction, or infirmity.
Because when people think sexual health, I think especially lay people, when they think of sexual health and they see the word health, they're not thinking holistically. They're thinking medical.
Right.
And that's that definition. If we were to look at it as just those things, is a very medical, cut and dried scientific definition. Whereas when we look at the social determinants of health, the social determinants of sexual health, and things like that, it's much more holistic approach. Like we need absence of coercion and absence of violence, and there's a maternal justice and reproductive justice components to that, and so it's lots of things that come under the umbrella of social health, and the World Health Organization says so.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So if they say so, who are me to judge? Who are me?
Wait, and who are we without the breed? Because
I'm gonna drink my water.
Because I since I've gotten this degree, there have been several people have their 2 cents and some things, and I bring experience and the education.
Correct.
Right? Just like you just said, you bring the experience and the
Correct.
education, right? And so, I had a few people, like even in my DMs when I posted that you were coming on my show.
Well,
girl, let me tell you two.
boy, girl.
One lady said to me, well, why would you have another sexologist on the show? First of all, ma'am. And I did tell her politely that we do not. First of all, we don't compete with people.
Nope.
We do not compete. We have a phone call coming in, but we're not answering calls right now, y'all. So I'm sorry. I got to say goodbye.
my niche is my niche.
Mm-hmm.
Your niche is your niche, and
Mhm.
even if we do some of the same,
We're still two
talk
different
about it.
people. We're still
Talk
like
about it.
so. I think that sociologically, women compete with each other. We're socialized to be competitive. We are socialized to compete for resources and partners and all these other things. And the beauty of this space, and I was just talking to somebody else about this. The beauty of the sex education and pleasure space is that the black women specifically, the white ones too, but the black ones specifically have been so welcoming and transparent and supportive and honorable and genuine. And so I've always felt like there was something missing in a woman that didn't get along with other women. There's something lacking in that. There's something that they need to dig deeper on. But in this space, we collaborate, we work together, we help each other out, we refer, we do all of those things. I was just telling you when I did my laundry, this is my shirt. But when I did my laundry, I had so many of my other colleagues' shirts that I bought and supported. I didn't ask for no discount or no shit like that. I bought it and I paid for it to support my sister in this work. And I think that when we show that we support each other, this is what pleasure looks like. This is what we are doing here. This is a compatibility that a lot of industries don't even have, specifically where black women are concerned. And I'm disappointed, but I'm excited about the fact that we get to represent something different. Some of my sisters in this work are on my care team, meaning that when I die and I'm cremated and I'm turned into diamonds, these black women are going to show up for my family, for my children, for my partner to make sure that they don't have to worry about executing my last wishes. They're going to make sure it goes over. So if you have somebody in your life that you know professionally, that you invite them into the space of your final moments on this planet, that is some genuine connection.
Right.
And I think to have that, I didn't have that when I was doing accounting. You know what I'm saying? I have that now. And I think that is something that maybe people don't see.
Right.
They just see all of us doing the same thing and think that there's a natural competition there, but I absolutely don't feel that way.
And like I was telling you, we have Facebook groups behind the scenes. We have, all these different support groups behind the scenes that we're talking, we're collaborating, and we're doing all these different things. One of my sponsor for BK is one of my best friends now. We didn't know each other before this.
Right.
And this is 4.5 years later, and we are the best of friends.
Yes.
And she'll do anything for me, and I'll do anything for her or her children.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's no competition, guys.
It's not.
Not at all.
It's not. I don't even have a show podcast situation, so I don't even have it. So I'm over here on her stuff because I don't have one. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that it's amazing how well when you decide to. This is not. We have been socialized to be the antithesis of what we're doing right now.
Girl, you better preach.
And we say fuck that.
Hello.
Can I cuss? I didn't know.
Oh yeah, but try to keep it.
Yeah. I do that. I cuss a lot, y'all. It feels good in my mouth, but I'm definitely excited about the fact that we are representing the change. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yes, girl. Yes, girl. Okay, so listen, because we can all day, y'all. Sexual Health Awareness Month, right? So, and I wrote and I made this so small, and I know it by heart. But we're talking about sexually transmitted disease, reproductive health, sexual violence prevention, healthy pregnancies, HIV/AIDS prevention, LGBTQIA health, and I think you added another one on there. What did you add?
Oh, I said HIV prevention and navigation.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah.
And so if you've been watching any of my lives this month, I have been hitting all of those different things, right? And today we just kind of want to talk about sex positivity, but we can't, just gloss over the fact that sexual health and awareness always talks about all of these different things. They encompass all of these different things. And I just wrote a few key components here, and I kind of want to, you can hear me talk all day. You on the show, right? So tell me when you think about these things: physical, emotional, mental, social well-being. What comes to mind when you pair this sexual health and physical, emotional, mental, social well-being? What comes to your mind? Talk to me, girl.
What comes to mind is when it comes, especially sex positivity and sexual health, is unlearning all the stuff that you were taught that was not for you.
Exactly.
We walking around carrying loads that are not our own. And then you internalize the negative and harmful information, and then you perpetuate it and spew it onto other people. And so it just keeps perpetuating itself. And so when I think of sexual health, I think about truth telling, I think about myth busting, I think about connection to pleasure, because sexual pleasure is sexual health. And then I think about all the mental and emotional stuff that comes with that. Like, how do Black women show up in sexual health and pleasure? How do just people that are not necessarily straight show up? How do relationships show up? And all the different kinds of relationships. Monogamy ain't for everybody. Polyamory ain't for everybody. And all of those things look different, right? When I think of sexual health, I think of the transparency that needs to come along with that. You know, I say be good or be good at it. When I think of sexual health, that's what I think of.
You said a mouthful, right? So let's break them down then.
Okay.
So let's talk about the physical part.
Okay.
So how can we be sex positive and take care of ourselves?
Okay. Well, so first, sex positive is navigating topics of sexuality and pleasure and health without shame, stigma, or judgment.
Wait, rewind. Without shame, stigma, or judgment. Okay. So let's talk about a scenario, right?
Okay.
For instance, I have a bottoms up class coming up, right? And so I have a few people that have inboxed me. Why is all in my DMs being negative? So why are we talking about the anus? It's only one way out. Why would we do that? I don't understand.
Okay.
That's shame, right?
Right. It's rooted in shame. Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, it's their own internalized shame showing up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then there is a stigma because you're saying, oh, it's only a shoot that goes out, right. So when you are shaming people, you're saying, okay, because you're can I go there? I really want to go there. You're really putting how you feel about your own self onto other people. You really are. And so I've had women say, oh, well, we're not gay.
What they got to do with anything?
What that? Because the definition of gay is the same sex, and
not even that. The gay is the attraction. If you're a grown person and if you're a grown woman and you see another grown woman go, damn, she can get it. That's gay. The act of, like, so let's say a man and see another man walk down the street and go, damn, he can get it. That's the definition of gay. It's attraction.
Right.
So if anal sex, a man enjoying anal sex, be it receiving or providing anal sex, is not homosexual. That is a sexual act. Right. It has nothing to do. The orientation comes into play with who's performing those acts.
Right.
Not the acts themselves.
Right.
And so again, that shame that we're taught, that we internalize, especially around anal sex, as if gay men are the only ones that have anal sex.
I want to go.
You know what I'm saying? It's not. And so my, I have some stuff copied and pasted already because we get similar questions, I'm sure. Thank you so much for reaching out. Oh, hey, name here. Thank you so much for reaching out. If this isn't for you, I understand, but there are people out here that want to know about this, and we're not going to yuck anyone's yum.
Exactly.
And, thank you for reaching out. Have a great day. Like, there's no reason to, if you don't care about it, then why exert the energy to be negative about it?
Because my mind automatically thinks that you actually are curious about it and really want to try it, but instead you're putting all that negativity out.
Right. Just go to the webinar and cut your camera off.
Hello?
Just keep your camera off.
Don't change your name on there. You don't even have to go by your real name. I have people that go by, whatever you want to do.
Or buy the replay if it's for sale.
Hello?
So you can enjoy it at your own pace. But you don't, the best way as far as sexual health and sex positivity is concerned, the best way we can maintain our own sexual health and be sex positive simultaneously is to not yuck someone else's yum.
Exactly.
If it's not for you, scroll and nod, boo. It's just all you have to do. There's no reason to exert energy towards something that you are indifferent about, something that you don't care about. If you exert the energy, you care about it.
Absolutely. I agree. And then when I think about the physicality, I also think about the health, the wellness of everything. Learn how to put on a condom. Men are not the only people that are responsible for making sure that the condom is on right.
An internal condom or external condom.
Exactly.
And so when I think sexual health, I do think of STI and pregnancy prevention. But I think about, before we even get to that, I'm thinking about maintaining your pH balance. Do you know that you need to wash your towels before you use them? when you bring them home from the store, you need to wash them before you put them in your linen closet. Do you know that you need a white towel for your genitals at least? You need a white towel for your whole body, but you should be using white washcloths. Do you know that you need a separate towel for your genitals than you do the rest of your body? Do you know that the soap you use can impact if you have, a pH balance? Did you know that all human beings have pH balances in their genitals? No matter what your genitals look like, penises have a pH, vulvas have a pH, anus has a pH. Okay? Your diet, if you're receiving oral sex from somebody, their diet can absolutely negatively impact your pH. I'm plant-based. If dude just ate a steak, we got a problem. You know what I'm saying? So for me, sexual health is all of those things. Sexual health is knowing that water is going to increase your orgasm quality. It's going to improve your erectile quality. It's going to improve. You know what I'm saying? Let's toast here.
Yes.
But yeah, like things like that, right? If you're not a squirter, you can be if you're properly hydrated. If you are a squirter, you'll squirt more. If you're properly hydrated, you know what I'm saying? If you have a penis, your erection quality is going to be better, your stamina is going to be improved, and your ejaculate will be smoother. Sexual health.
Right.
Ejaculate should be the texture of spit, not snot.
Hello.
That's sexual health to me.
Exactly.
And if you nut and it's yellow or thick or viscous, that's a problem for me. I'm like, you need some water.
Yes, I do.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that when I think of sexual health, I think of everything, all the prep work that needs to go into maintaining your body before you even get to have sex with somebody else. Sexual health to me is washing your hands before you masturbate.
Especially now before COVID, pre-COVID,
right? But post-COVID for sure.
Post-COVID, don't you touch no.
Sexual health is using lubricant when you masturbate.
Hello. Oh. Did you not know?
When you have sex too, but when you masturbate, sexual health is knowing that lube is a part of safer sex practices because it reduces friction. Right. Like a lot of people don't even sexual health, knowing that all people have Kegel muscles. If you have a penis, you have Kegel muscles. If you do not have a penis, you have Kegel muscles.
No, I just talked about that, right? Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when I think sexual health, I think all of the ways that sexual function shows up in the way we maintain our bodies every day. Not even before you start having sex with somebody else, because then we got the internal condoms, external condoms, what types of lube. I've been natural 20 years. I know people want to be supernatural. They want to use coconut oil as lubricant.
Oh God.
So sexual health will be knowing that when you use something that's solid at room temperature as a lubricant, it's probably going to be a problem when it cools off. Also, you can't use condoms and sex toys and oil. Things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? That's, to me, that is sexual health. And that is where pleasure and health collide.
Do you know her boyfriend was insisting on oil? Yeah, insisting. And when I finished educating, she cussed him out, actually.
Yeah, but you know what? He didn't know.
He didn't know.
Because people think with sexual health, this is what the giddy up is. This is why we got to go get degrees to do our jobs for people to feel safe and comfortable with us giving y'all this information. When people think that because they're having sex, the water went down the wrong way. Yeah, because they're having sex, they don't need sex ed.
Right. I can easily open my legs to do it. That's not a problem. Doesn't mean I know what I'm doing.
Nope.
At all.
Nope.
And so, but I've been having sex for 50 years, and you could have been doing something wrong.
I had a lady say, she was saying we were talking about wetness. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, she's having vaginal orgasm. I said, well, a vaginal orgasm is a myth. It's like a unicorn. It's a blended orgasm. And it's not guaranteed. Everyone's not going to have one. And so I said, so it's like a 50-50 shot if you're enjoying the sex that you're having. She said, I thought it was just a 50-50 shot. It was going to feel good.
You okay?
I'm looking around because I'm just like, ma'am, she's been married 25 years. You've been having sex for at least 25 years. And you were having sex that did not feel good. Because you didn't know that it was, you thought there was a 50-50 shot. It was going to feel good. So you thought that sex was not supposed to feel good. Or that it was okay that you didn't enjoy it for whatever reason. We're internalizing this. This is why we need sex ed for adults, and it's through the lifespan. Exactly. So I do sex ed through the lifespan, and I know that you do as well. Pre-K through senior citizens.
Exactly.
It's lifelong learning.
And see, I don't know how you were, and actually that's part of the segment later. Mm-hmm. But did you get a thorough sex ed in school.
No, and not at home either. Nope. Nope.
Because when I moved to Texas, like 20 years, and I was a senior in high school by that time. But before then, I was in Florida. We got a video. hmm And that video just talks about, this is how your period starts, and this is what a penis looks like, and those type of things. But
was it separated boys and girls?
Separated boys and girls.
Very heteronormative.
And so then when I started teaching here in Texas, I was like, oh, they still showing that
same video.
And it's across the world. Because I was in Florida when I was watching that.
Same video.
And it's in Texas now.
I'm going to tell you something that's interesting to me. And when people hear it, those of us that know what I'm saying are really mind blown. So the type of sex ed that we get is abstinence only until marriage, or abstinence plus. Abstinence education is funded by welfare reform. Because the way to reform the welfare system and save more money is to not let them have sex till they get married. Because when they get married, they can't get welfare. So we're going to tell them abstinence only till marriage to get them off welfare so we don't have to pay for it. Just saying, it's not for us, y'all. It's not for us. And when we show these videos to these kids of these genitals that are, ridiculously impacted by sexual transmitted infections, what we're doing is we're scaring them and we're giving them a false sense of security, because then if they see their partner's genitals that don't have scars or bumps or lesions or anything, they think that person does not have an STI.
Because what we were just talking about, if you're watching If My Lives recently, I'm talking about you can have no symptoms.
Yep.
No symptoms of any type of STI.
Nope.
At all. None.
Nope.
Be walking around just and passing it on to each and every person that you have unprotected sex with.
Yep. And that's why we just talked about, I told you, September is like Christmas for us. And so we are all losing our minds on the internet. And I was just talking about how when you get your sexual health screenings, you have to ask for an oral swab and an anal swab, because you can have, when they do your genital swab for gonorrhea and chlamydia and syphilis and all of that, it can come back negative and non-reactive from your genitals, but it may be reactive in your mouth, or it may be reactive in your anus. And if you don't swab those 3 separate areas, you won't have cultures from those areas. So the culture up here and the culture down below are not the same. So if they only test your genitals, then they haven't really tested you completely, and you have to ask for that to be a thing. So when we talk about sexual health, I'm talking about advocacy too. We're talking about making sure that when you go to the doctor, you're asking for what you need. It's everything. It's all encompassing.
So let's talk about emotional.
Ooh. Child.
I told you, what you do to talking today.
I mean, so when I think of emotional health, I'm thinking healthier relationships. I don't like to say healthy relationships because it implies that all the relationships we had before had no healthy aspects. So healthier strategies, de-escalation, positive communication, how to communicate negative emotions, how to handle rejection, how to handle disappointment. Yes, emotional intelligence is a big part of sex ed, because that's how you show up in your relationships as well. Right. So if you can't communicate in specific ways, you're not going to get what you want. It's just like, just because I posted it don't mean you saw it.
Right.
Just because I said it don't mean you heard it. So just that's not communication.
Right.
Right. So when I think of emotional, I'm thinking of navigating consent. I'm thinking of condom negotiation. I'm thinking of talking about if you want kids or not and how that looks. Abortion navigation, boundaries, all of these different things. That are emotional weights that are attached to sexual expression. And that's just for the people that know their identities. If those of you, we got gender identities, sexuality, and knowing the difference between sex, orientation, and gender. Those are 3 separate things, people.
Okay. So do you want to break it down for the people?
So sex is your biological sex. It's what you have between your legs. Orientation is your desire spectrum. It's who you want.
Okay, so hold on. Let's stop. Pause. So I was born a female, right?
Assigned female at birth.
Right. I'm so glad you went that a little bit further. Sorry.
Because that's different.
I know. So, but then I like girls. That's my
orientation.
So continue.
Okay, so
I'm just making sure that they understand.
Yes, they're following. They're following along. Yeah. So sex is what you have. Orientation is who you want, and gender is who you are. So I may have been assigned female at birth, but I don't feel like a woman, or I don't feel like a man either. I'm just non-binary. I'm gender non-conforming, and then I like men. So I am a non-binary femme that's heterosexual because I'm still a female. I'm still assigned female at birth, but my gender is what I look like. So male female is biological designation, but man woman is gender designation. And again, they're all spectrums. There are no absolutes in nature. Science, yes. Nature, no. You have intersex people. You have transgender people. You have people that have all these different sit different places on the spectrum in sex orientation and biology and gender. So we can't
and we can get into a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother show.
For real.
But sexual health includes that.
Right.
And when we introduce that early to where it's not taboo and our children aren't confused, then that hate and violence that comes with that dissipates. And we ease stigma and we ease violence and we reduce harm. And that's really what we're supposed to be doing as human beings.
That's what we're supposed to be doing. What about mental?
Mental is a lot.
Because all of that is encompassing mental as well. However. Mental
is a lot. And I think just the mental, I specifically said on Black people. So, our prevalence of all types of mental health intersections as a result of that existing in this country as Black folk, that in and of itself is a whole nother aspect of how sex shows up for us. It could be a trauma response. It could be a safe place. It could be a blanket. It could be...
And with all of the things that are going on, that again, that can be a whole... I can think of a 2-hour show of just talking about that as well. But let's talk in general. How do you think that mentally you can be sex positive? How do you think mentally can you prepare yourself for having sex?
I think because we already have so many preset tropes, if you feel a negative way, if you have like a reaction to something, question it. That's the best way to navigate your own personal sexual ethics and sexual health ethics. So let's say I have a client or I have a friend. I have a friend that's dating someone that's living with HIV. I know this person is living with HIV, but I don't know if my friend knows or not. They're in a serious relationship. They may or may not be having sex. Is it my job to tell my friend that this person is living with HIV? The answer is no. For those that don't know the answer is no. It's not your job to out somebody else because you're assuming that your friend can't navigate that for themselves. You're assuming that it's your place. If you're not having sex with none of these people, none of that matters to you. And so you have to be in a sex positive way. You have to understand that that's not your place and that's not your role.
But I'm looking out for my friend though.
But you're saying that you think your friend is an idiot. You're saying that you don't think your friend is smart enough or capable enough or has the capacity to navigate dealing with somebody that's living with HIV.
But she's my ride or die. I gotta be her ride or die.
Then let her ride. You know what I'm saying? You can have a conversation with her about sexual responsibility, but you're also making assumptions about that this person that's living with HIV is going to try to trick them in some way or try to fool them in some way. You're removing the autonomy of your friend and you're villainizing the person that's living with HIV. So that all of that is sex negative, right? Take a step back. It's not your business.
Right.
It's not your business.
And unfortunately, that it doesn't mean that you can't have the conversations of if you're that close to that person, you can have some of those conversations to see what may or may not transpire, and they may or may not tell you.
Right.
So it's still not your business.
Yeah, so the sex positive response is to not say nothing. Right. If you are just nosy and you just can't let it go, you can talk about, what kind of condoms you use, girl? I don't know what kind of condoms I should get. What kind of condoms you use? You know what I'm saying? Things like that. But you really, if you're trying to make a step to be sex positive, you have to understand that everything ain't your business. And you have to let other people live their lives. And so when we're talking about sex positivity, stop and figure out, why do I feel like I need to jump into this person's life in this way? What am I going to gain from that? Is that going to hurt this relationship or help this relationship? You have to really try to dig deeper on why you even feel like that's your job. And
then that ties into social well-being. Which is the last little ring.
Yes.
Right. So what does social well-being mean? And encompassing all of these things, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it's all of it.
There is a certain navigation on that too.
I think social well-being, I think it's navigating. We're talking about sex positive. Social well-being is understanding that everybody is not where you are when it comes to sex positivity, and you didn't always know what it was and move in that way. So you got to make space for people and extend grace to people. So you can't be stewing and brewing because somebody used the wrong pronouns, or they said STDs instead of STIs, or they said somebody had AIDS instead of advanced HIV, or you can't sit and brood about those things. You either approach them as teaching moments or shut up. Because sex positivity is about reducing harm and making space for other people. So even if and you have to understand that you don't have to agree to understand.
Right.
If something is going on that you don't agree with, did they ask for your agreement? Exactly. Did they ask for your permission?
Well, and I think of it like this, like, I don't necessarily agree with myself protesting for the Black Lives Matter movement, but I don't knock anybody that wants to do those protests and down in downtown and wherever else that you might be. Mm-hmm. But I don't speak negatively about them either. Mm-hmm. Oh, they shouldn't be doing that. No, it's the same thing with sex positivity. Mm-hmm. It's not all about he's gay and it's none of my business
at all. If you don't like gay marriage, don't get gay married.
Hello,
that's it.
If you and if your friend tells you that they're gay, either you're gonna support or you're not gonna be friends anymore. Right. Which one is it going to be?
And I want to tell people too, because a lot of people struggle with that, especially men folks. Hetero men folks struggle if their friends or loved ones invite them in and say I'm gay or I'm homosexual, whatever the case may be. Understand this. If your friend was a trifling, nothing, lying, two-faced thief, they were that whether they were gay or straight.
Hello.
Focus on the person, because who they take home at night ain't got nothing to do with you unless they're taking you home. Mm-hmm. So as long as that is separate and you have those boundaries in that friendship, it doesn't matter if they're gay or straight in real life because they're still who they are to you. They're still that same friend. They're still that person that you can call and be like, yo, they're still that person.
Right.
And so that's what I think we lose sight of and feeling entitled to other people's ideals. Because, again, there are no absolutes in nature. So gay folk occur in nature. So if that's the case, then we got to let everybody live in their nature and we live in ours.
And I think that's a perfect segue.
I'm segueing out here, y'all.
I was reading an article, and I have a little segment called "Wait, What?" On my show because and we were just talking about sex ed, right? Mm-hmm. And so the title of the article, and I just happened to run past it, says Texas gives preliminary approval for revised school sex ed policy, excludes LGBTQ issues, mm-hmm. right? And so it was the first time that they kind of had, wanted to revamp the policy since like 1997. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a long time, guys. We're in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so 23 years ago.
23 years ago. But one thing that stood out to me as I was reading this, it says a Brownsville Democrat unsuccessfully proposed teaching middle schoolers and high schoolers to define sex orientation and gender identity. Now, and let me read on. He said the proposals would help LGBTQ students who studies show have a higher rate of suicide attempts and part due to discrimination. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about this?
I think that there's a lot of people that feel that I saw it's a group called Parents for Values, mm-hmm. specifically. They feel that introducing that type of information will encourage kids to be gay or encourage kids to be gender nonconforming, etc. But that's not how any of this works.
Just like in church, they say be abstinent so that we won't go out and have sex or do anything. They won't teach us how to have sex.
Yeah, but when you get married, you're supposed to know how to keep a man, right? And things like that.
You're supposed to know how to do all that.
Because it's gonna keep him. But yeah, I think parents specifically make a big mistake when they assume their children are straight. You cannot assume that your children are straight. Because here's the thing: when did you decide you were straight? You didn't. You just always knew. That is the same thing that happens with kids that are not straight. And if they don't see, it's not even a matter of discrimination. It's a matter of erasure. If they don't see themselves represented or things that apply to them represented in the curriculum that they're getting, mm-hmm. they're not going to feel seen. They're not going to feel supported. And that's why they have higher suicide rates. Also, when we're talking about explaining things, if you explain it, then kids have a working understanding and there's not this violent reaction when they come in contact with something that's different than they are. It's something as simple as reading books to pre-K students about families, right. and how families look different, and how some families have mama and dad and grandma and grandpa and auntie and uncle in the same house, and how some households just have mommies, some households just have daddies, some households have 2 mommies and 2 daddies. So if my classmate has 2 mommies, it's just a family that looks different from mine. There's no reason for me to feel any kind of way about that. And so the little girl in that class who feels like she may like little girls too also sees a loving family in that book. Now, that's not teaching your kids about being gay or whatever that shows up to be. We trust kids to decide that they're straight, but we don't trust kids to decide that they're not.
Right.
And as parents, we cannot afford that assumption because you think you have an open door policy with your kids, but they see how you react and they see the things that you don't say, and you're framing yourself as an unaskable, untrustable adult. So they're not going to come to you.
Good.
I'm just saying, they're not going to do it.
We about almost done with our time, and we could sit here and talk about so much more. So I'm eventually going to ask you to come back. Right?
I mean, we in the DM talk.
Because I like when you just talking. Because I mean, I know.
But you guide. You be guided. You know what I'm saying? With the segues and the alley-oops. You know what I'm saying? I need those boundaries. I need that.
Right.
I need that.
So listen, my next show, actually, I do have a show on the 20th, but I'll let y'all know what that show is. It's actually a first lady, and I'm just getting permission for her pictures to be shown on screen yet. So we'll talk about that in about a week because that's when she'll be on the show. However, the next show that you definitely want to tune in as well is on the 27th is HIV Lives Matter.
Yes.
And my friend Chris Dixon is living with HIV and willing to talk about it. Amen. And his navigation of his lifestyle.
Yes.
And how he came to deal with all of it.
Yes.
So tune in.
Yes.
On September 27th.
Yes.
I'm so excited. Woo, woo.
That's gonna
Shout
be a
out
good
to
one.
Chris. So thank you so much for being a part of my show. Girl, I love you. I know you. I love you. Now, listen, if you want to listen to Goody some more, all platforms she's Ask Goody.
ASKGOODY.
Thank you. There we go. Pop it up on that screen. Okay, there we go. And AskGoody.com. So, I am so glad that you guys tuned in. I appreciate you every time. Look for the lives for this week because I got a whole list of things we got to talk about. It's Sexual Health Awareness Month. Hello. All platforms, Candyology CS, or you can go back and watch the replay on my Facebook page or IGTV or YouTube. So first of all, thank y'all for watching. One more time. And I am wishing you love-filled days and orgasmic nights. Have a great day.